said this recently about how if someone has created this simulation in an intelligent way, which they obviously would have, because look at it, it's pristine. I mean, it's got its flaws, but you know what I mean. You would never even be able to comprehend or perceive that this is truly a simulation. Like, you just wouldn't be able to ever get the definitive proof to show that this is in fact a simulation. There's lots of dots which can be connected. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence. However, as far as definitive proof, obviously people will debate that there is definitive proof, but if that was the case, wouldn't everyone agree? I'm of the mind that this is a simulation. I guess we can experiment with this video and see how well it performs. I've just said it. I think we're in a simulation. That just about does it for today's video. It was a bit of a longer one than normal. Hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe for future content. As I've said earlier on, I post at 8 PM UK time, and we do have a Discord community called the Awoken Family for if you wish to carry on the conversation after this video ends. Hope to see you there, but for now, stay safe, stay well, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.